Okay, so let's dive into this. There's a report out from Rari, and it's talking about something potentially huge in clean energy.
Uh-huh. China, right?
Yeah, right. China. They've apparently got their first molten salt thorium reactor up and running out in the Gobi Desert.
Right, the experimental one. It's significant because, well, thorium is often floated as this next-gen nuclear fuel.
Exactly.
Mm,
And for you listening, if you want to get up to speed quickly on these kinds of big shifts, this is definitely one to understand.
absolutely. I mean, we've relied on uranium for, what, decades? Thorium's got some genuinely interesting differences.
So, our mission here basically is to unpack that. Why the buzz around thorium? What does China's progress mean? And what's the U.S. doing in this space?
Let's start with the advantages. The Rari report flags the waste issue pretty prominently.
Right. Less radioactive waste compared to the usual uranium reactors.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, isn't it?
It really is. Uranium fission creates waste that stays dangerous for, well, tens of thousands of years. Awful stuff.
Yeah.
Thorium's main waste products. Their half-lives are more in the hundreds of years range. Still long, but drastically shorter. It makes managing the waste seem, well, less impossible.
Okay, that's a clear benefit. And the report also mentions it doesn't easily produce weapons-grade byproducts.
Correct. That's the proliferation resistance aspect. You can't, or it's much, much harder to turn thorium byproducts into bombs compared to some uranium cycles. Huge security plus.
And they use this term fusion-proof. What exactly does that mean? It's not actual fusion, right?
No, not fusion like the sun. It's more about the inherent safety of the reactor design itself. These molten salt reactors, they run at lower pressures,
Ah, okay.
and the fuel is dissolved in liquid salt. If things go wrong, it doesn't melt down in the catastrophic way a solid fuel rod can. It sort of solidifies safely. Passive safety, they call it.
Interesting. Now, here's something that really caught my eye in the report. It suggests some thorium reactors could, eat existing plutonium stockpiles.
Yeah, that's a fascinating possibility. Certain designs can essentially use plutonium as fuel, breaking it down into less harmful stuff.
Wow, so it could help clean up existing nuclear waste.
Potentially, yes. It wouldn't vanish at all, but it's a pathway to reducing those stockpiles we already have, which also carry security risks. Yeah.
Right. And you mentioned the molten salt again. That's key to the safety and maybe this plutonium burning aspect.
It's integral to the design, yeah. The liquid fuel format offers flexibility and those safety benefits we talked about.
Okay, so China's pushing ahead with this dedicated thorium reactor. But the U.S. isn't just watching, according to the report. They're working on something called NEL fuel.
That's right. NEL is a mixed thorium and low-enriched uranium, or LEU.
LEU, so not weapons-grade uranium.
Exactly. Still keeps that proliferation resistance benefit. But the key idea behind NEL is different.
How so?
It's designed to potentially be used in existing reactors,
Uh-huh.
specifically heavy water reactors. Think CANDU reactors in Canada or reactors in India. China already uses some too.
Ah, so instead of building brand new thorium-specific reactors everywhere, you could maybe slot this fuel into current infrastructure.
That's the idea. It could be a faster route to adopting some thorium benefits without, a massive global rebuild of the entire nuclear fleet.
Makes sense. In performance, the report says ANEL gets a much higher burnup rate. What does that mean practically?
Burnup is basically fuel efficiency, how much energy you squeeze out of the fuel before you have to replace it.
Okay.
Higher burnup, like the 7 times higher rate mentioned for ANEL compared to natural uranium, means you get way more power from the same amount of fuel.
Which means less refueling, less waste overall.
Precisely. More efficient energy production, less downtime for refueling, and less waste generated per unit of energy. It's all connected.
And the report also stresses just how much more thorium there is than uranium in the Earth's crust.
Yeah, estimates vary, but generally 2, 3, even 4 times more abundant. It's found all over the place.
So potentially a much more secure, almost inexhaustible fuel source long term.
That's the potential, yes. It could really change the geopolitics of energy if thorium becomes mainstream. Less reliance on the specific countries that currently dominate uranium supply.
Okay, let's try and pull this together. China. Operational molten salt thorium reactor. Big step.
Demonstrating that core technology.
Thorium itself offers advantages. Less waste, better safety profile, proliferation resistant, maybe eats plutonium, and it's abundant.
Key selling points, definitely.
Then the U.S. developing NEL fuel thorium plus LEU, aiming for compatibility with existing reactors, also showing big efficiency gains.
Right. A different strategy, focused perhaps more on incremental adoption using current infrastructure.
It really feels like we're watching the start of something potentially transformative in nuclear energy, with these two major players taking different but significant paths.
It does. Both approaches really highlight that the world is seriously looking at thorium's potential for, cleaner, more sustainable energy.
Yeah.
It's not just theory anymore.
So here's something to think about. Given thorium's potential safer, more abundant energy, and with the US and China both pushing forward, what could a global shift towards thorium mean geopolitically? And maybe more personally, how could it reshape the future of energy for you? Definitely food for thought.